you ready? Okay, and it's live. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming to Perfect Circuit tonight. Thanks to Perfect Circuit for having us. We are Noise Engineering, which I'm going to assume you know if you are here. I'm Chris, this is Steven, and that's Marcus hiding in the corner over there. We're going to be demoing a few different modules tonight, but we're going to start off with a short performance by Steven, and then we'll come back and talk about a few of the new modules that we've released over the last couple months. And then Marcus will do a short performance with the Cursus Iteritas Percido that came out fairly recently. And then there will be a raffle of the Kith Ruina, the distortion that just came out a couple weeks ago. So if you haven't gotten your raffle ticket already, make sure you get one up here at the front. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Steven, and make sure you get empanadas. Get your food, get your beer, get your raffle ticket, and enjoy. Oh, we have to unpatch all of this. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so while he's doing that, so some of you may know that we have recently started this whole Distortion of the Month series. So tonight I'm going to show a couple of those distortions. The Terci Ruina came out last month, and the Kith Ruina came out just a couple weeks ago. So there'll be more of these because it is a Distortion of the Month series. That's sort of how that works. Some of the questions that we've been getting is just how these really compare to each other. We'll do a lot more of this as we get more of these in the series. But since I have everybody here tonight, I thought this would be a good opportunity to just compare and contrast the first two of these in the series. Thank you. I'm going to start. Okay, I'm going to start really simple. This is a question that we've gotten a number of times, to just start with something simple like a sine wave. So I'm going to start with the Terci Ruina. This Terci meaning 3. The Ruina is the name of everything in our distortion series, so if you hear Ruina, then we are talking about a distortion. Terci Ruina, I brought a page of the manual so I could read directly. If you're looking for a pretty or clean distortion, this is probably not it. This is actually what we wrote in the manual. TR was not designed to be pretty or clean, but was meant to invoke some of the chaos that happens when using guitar pedals. It will be noisy. It may pick up radio stations. We say that because when we were working on it in our lab, our house, we actually did pick up radio stations frequently. So it may actually do that. There is a little gremlin in there. So I'm going to start off pretty simple. There are 3 different, can you see this guy on here? Okay. There's 3 different, wired in series, there's 3 different distortions. Feedback, FB, it's 2-stage asymmetric clipping diodes. There's a lot of gain on that one. It's crazy gain. FF is feed forward using op amps for gain, and then fuzz is just a typical fuzz sort of feedback. So I'm going to give it a simple sine wave in, and that doesn't sound like a sine wave. But if I turn everything down, it's quite quiet, but it sounds like a sine wave. So again, lots and lots of gain on this thing. It's going to be loud. It's going to be distorty. It's going to be occasionally picking up radio stations. It is kind of a nasty little distortion. Now, realistically, I expect that most people aren't going to be putting sine waves in there. So now I'm going to give you a Bia Kick. So if I turn everything down, we have a pretty quiet kick. At some point it becomes almost unrecognizable as a kick. This thing can get really, really gross, and it is a lot of fun. But it can also get a little bit of everything in between. It's never going to be pretty, but it's going to give you a lot of really kind of distorty, amazing tones. Because it's modular, you can go in and out of each one. You can cross patch, so you can patch out of the fuzz and back up into the FF. You can patch in and out. You can use each channel separately if you want. So you have 3 different distortions in one module in 4HP. So it's a really fun and powerful little, very simple distortion. Okay, so now on to the Kith Ruina, the one that just recently came out and the one that we're giving away tonight. This one is based on simple guitar tone stacks. So we have a drive circuit and an EQ circuit. So again, I'll put in a simple sine wave. Oh, right, thank you. Sound professional. So if I turn my drive down, we have our simple sine wave. And it's a sine wave, so the EQ is not going to do a heck of a lot to it. So I'm only going to show you the drive on the sine wave. But go back to our kick. And what's really fun with this is that the tone stack, you have control over high and low, but there's also a switch where you can decide where you want the shelving, which gives you really completely different tonal controls. So if I put the switch down, I get one sort of tonality out of the kick drum. Flip the switch, and it's like a completely different sound. The other thing that's fun about this is that you can, of course, use 2 different modules. So I could patch the kick drum just into the EQ, and then patch my sine into the drive. And again, you have 2 different distortions, 4HP. Well, 1 distortion, 1 EQ, simple EQ. So 4HP, straightforward, but a whole lot of functionality and power in such a small footprint. Okay, I think that's it for those 2 modules. I'm going to hand it over to Marcus, who's going to show you the SB and the CIP that just recently came out. Let me get these out of the way. There we go.
Hello. Let me get a patch together really quickly. So, first off, Sinc Bucina is a low-pass gate, kind of. It does a lot more than just low-pass gate stuff. So it's all analog. There's an emulation of a Vactral, but there's no actual Vactral in it, which means you kind of have more options than if it was a straight Vactral low-pass gate. The decay times go from around 200 milliseconds to around 7 seconds, so you can get some pretty interesting stuff out of that. Let's see, let me get a gate going. Okay, so I'm running the Cursus Iteritas into the Sinc Bucina. It's being triggered by just our clock generator over here. So I have in the ping input, that basically just gives me a release envelope, kind of like a normal low-pass gate. So I can turn that up. Again, it goes really long, it goes really short. I have 3 modes. So there's a 6 dB resonant filter, there's a 12 dB filter, and then there's a straight VCA. So if you want to bypass the filtering, just use it as a filter in an envelope. Gives you a nice option there. The ping input is also velocity dependent, so you can send in a lower or higher voltage trigger and you get kind of different response out of it. So here I have it going, my trigger going through the lapse exhaust, so I can kind of attenuate it down and I get different dynamic response out of it. It opens less or more depending on where that is, change the filter characteristics. And then there's a gate input. So the gate input, it's not really a gate. You can patch a gate into it and get normal like ASR kind of envelope out of it. But again, it's a bit more interesting than that. So it acts as a slew. So if I run a gate into it, get an ASR envelope, you can run like a step sequence from something like Mimetic Digitalis into it, and basically slew between different steps on there. It also acts as a halfway rectifier, so you can basically get a kind of bad envelope follower out of it if you want to. And again, it's voltage dependent, so you can change the dynamic response of that input as well. Okay, so that's basically it on the Sinc Bucina. I'm going to move on to the Cursus Iteritas Percido, which is the largest model we've ever made. It's fun. So we had a module called the Cursus Iteritas. It's an older oscillator of ours. It's kind of like a wavetable oscillator. It's more based around generating harmonic spectra and then manipulating it in different ways with the front panel controls. So the Cursus Iteritas Percido basically takes the concept behind the Localic Iteritas Percido, where we took the LI and added a VCA and an envelope that you can route to all the different parameters. So same concept on the Cursus Iteritas Percido. There's an envelope with 3 kind of shaping controls, more than like your standard just, it's time controls. So it's a very expressive envelope. It's good for performance. The envelope can be routed to the different parameters via these envelope sends. And then those envelope sends go through the master blaster, which is basically an attenuverter over those attenuverters. So it's kind of like a performance macro. The master blaster also has a 0 to 5 volt offset out. So you can tie it into the rest of your patch if you want to have just one control that does a whole lot of other stuff. So let me grab a trigger. That's not a long enough cable. Eternal Euroax struggle. So let's see. Put it in watch mode, kind of turn everything down. Get like just a normal kind of kick drum out of it. So again, Master Blaster lets me kind of change where that envelope goes depending on where it's sent. I can then route that envelope to all the different front panel controls. So if I want to change, run the envelope to the full parameter or to my kind of big pressurey thing, I can actively change the harmonic content with the envelope, all that kind of stuff. There's 3 different algorithms. They're all based on different types of waveforms. CV-able. There's 18 CV inputs on the module. There's also an envelope output, so you can use that envelope elsewhere in your patch. There's also a free running mode, so you can use it just as a normal oscillator if you want to bypass the internal VCA and use it like the normal Cursus Iteritas. So that's a pretty fun one. Did I miss anything on that? I feel like make more sounds. Okay. It's acceptable. Yeah, cool. Performance patch. Patch sounds good. Yeah, let me swap stuff. explain what I was doing? Okay. I should explain what I was doing. So basically, I just had the Cursus Iteritas Percido and the Localic Iteritas Percido, so 2 voices. The LIP basically covered the bass stuff and the screechy stuff, because that's what I like doing with the LIP. And then the CIP did most of the melodic stuff. Again, I have the envelope sends kind of routed stuff, so I can manipulate things with the master blaster parameter. And then I just sequenced a bunch of like percussive patches and things on my sequencer to be able to change what the LIP was doing and create some kind of percussive elements and stuff like that. So it's a relatively simple patch, but it does some fun stuff, and this is the kind of thing I enjoy doing, more technical, weird things. So, yeah, cool. We're doing a raffle. Questions? Yes.
So if the master blaster is positive and the envelope is negative, is there a point where those two will cancel each other while everything else is kind of doing its thing on its specific sound?
Yeah. So basically, will the envelopes cancel out with the master blaster parameter? So if the master blaster is fully to the right, it's just an attenuverter. So if it's fully to the right, it's fully open. What you see on the panel is what you get. If it's in the center, basically everything is canceled out. So you can kind of basically neutralize everything, and then
all the other knobs are like the individual envelope send.
Yeah.
Well, that if that one's negative and the master blaster is positive.
Yeah.
Is there a point where those two will cancel each other while everything else is still kind of doing its thing?
No. So if you imagine it like this is an attenuverter over that envelope, you're basically sending a negative envelope. If I set an attenuverter onto a negative envelope fully positive, it still lets it through as a negative envelope. Okay. So it's acting like just a normal attenuverter, like you'd see in a normal attenuverter module, basically. Yeah. Any other questions?
I have a question about the Ruinas that you showed us today. Are any elements CVable? Not on these.
Not on these ones, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
The question was, gentlemen, the question was whether any elements on the Ruinas are CVable. And the answer is on these, no. But that doesn't mean there won't be on upcoming distortions, because distortion of the month means there are many more coming. Other questions? Everybody just wants to get to the raffle. Okay. If there are no more questions, then you guys ready for a raffle?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do it.
You want to read the raffle?
Sure.
Except bribes. Okay, 535-146. Hey.
I should be more excited about that. That's me.
You need that.
Yeah, you don't get the prize.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, I believe that concludes the evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thanks to Perfect Circuit for having us. Thanks for the empanadas. And the beer, of course. Thanks for the beer. Everybody, have a safe drive home. And if you have other questions or you want to play with the stuff, come on up and, put your hands on our modules.